Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be doing an updated hero deck. Now, I have taken a lot of influence from the previous YCS that just happened in Orlando, so we are going to be making a couple of changes compared to the one that I posted a few weeks ago, especially because now we have like a better general idea of what the deck or what the format is going to shape out like, as to the surprise of no one, Malice and Ryzeal, the two best decks, and unfortunately for us, those two decks just kind of like demolish us. But even so, we're gonna persevere, and hopefully the changes I've made to the deck are enough to at least swing some games into our favor. So with that out of the way, let's jump straight into it. As always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup first, and we're going to be playing two Elemental Heroes Stratos. Really straightforward, really standard stuff. 2, 3, 1, doesn't really matter. As long as the first one resolves, you're honestly going to be fine for the rest of the game. Then to go with our two Stratos, we're playing the 1 of Heroes, so we play the 1 Elemental Hero Neos, the 1 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, and the 1 Elemental Hero Blazeman. You guys can complain all you want, I'm not going to cut it. And this card has only just become even more important as the format has continued to evolve, right? So previously my justification was because this card is basically just an out to shifter, and it still is, but this card now also allows us to play through cards like Artifact Lancia, which is also another card that something like Vision Hero Vyon would just completely crumble against. As long as we have access to a Polymerization, we can at least have some kind of hope to be able to fusion summon or do something, which is just something that would not be available to us if we just relied solely on Vyon to be able to add Polymerization. So yeah, this card is being great into the two biggest played floodgates in the format. It's just invaluable, at least in my opinion. And I'm sure eventually you guys will start coming to this side, right? Probably not, but hey, I'm going to keep advocating for it, and one day it'll probably finally make its way into everyone's decks. Then, from here, we're playing the Vision Heroes. Nothing too crazy, just 3 Vision Hero Faris, 2 Vision Hero Increase, and 2 Vision Hero Vyon. Really straightforward, really standard stuff, much like with the Stratos and the other heroes besides Blazeman. Then for the D heroes, we're only playing 3 Destiny Hero Malicious and 1 Destiny Hero Denier. I have cut the Destiny Hero Plasma just because this format, it's just not great for it. Much like with the Dark Angel, where everyone was so convinced that you had to play it, and then you'd play against like a Snake Eyes player and they just link it away. Plasma, while it's obviously still a very good card, it's just super weak because there's way too many threats to just completely out it in this format. And that's not counting like Nibiru, right? Just even though like Nibiru is clearly being played in a lot of decks that just completely demolished any Plasma M board. Even something like Ryzeal has a built-in out for it already, and it's just so ineffective, right? Because literally all they have to do is go activate, exit Ryzeal, send Aggregator, congrats, your Plasma is now useless, and they can still combo off completely. And yeah, I don't know, it just doesn't seem worth running with like how hand trap heavy this format is, right? Provided you can even get to Plasma, you're gonna have to fight through Bestials, you're gonna have to fight through Ash, you're gonna have to fight through Imperm, Valor, like the list goes on and on and on. And just to have it lose to a single activate, exit Ryzeal, send Aggregator, just it's just not worth it in my opinion. So that's why I just ultimately cut it, and I'm just rocking these 4 Destiny Hero monsters. Then for the evil heroes, which we are still trying out, I don't know how to feel about them. I think they're fine for the most part. We're playing the 1 evil hero Destined Gold. You don't need any more than that. You're only activating this card once per turn, especially because when it comes to a deck like Hero, you don't really want to go into like a grind game or anything past turn 1, right? You want to lay it all out, and then just hopefully that's enough to carry you, just because this deck cannot grind. As unfortunate as that is to say, especially with hero variants in the past, such as like Hero B, Totally Awesome Heroes, which are known for their grind game and just being able to combine that with their explosiveness. Modern hero decks just do not grind, which is sad to say, but it is what it is. I would much rather play 3 Evil Assault than 2 Adusted Gold with 2 Evil Assault, or like ratios like that. So yeah, 1 perfectly fine. And then for the only other evil hero we're playing, the 1 Dead End Prison. Every other evil hero besides these 2 sucks, okay? Straight up. You guys can cope all you want, but you're basically just adding more bricks into your deck at the end of the day, just to have suboptimal effects that don't really change the outcome, because the normal hero deck can do pretty much everything the other hero decks can do, just by including those bricks for the most part. Like, sure, you miss out on like setting cards like Super Polymerization, but it's just not worth it, at least in my opinion. I know everyone has a differing opinion, and they will most certainly let me know down below why they disagree with me, but for the most part, these are basically the only two good ones. So this one to add Evil Assault or Dark Contact, and then this one because it sends any hero to the grave for cost and then essentially becomes King of the Swamp. So you don't even necessarily need to have access to Elemental Hero Neos to be able to go into your Neos like engine, right? So yeah. With that, that's the hero lineup, and then we do play a couple of other cards just to help round out the deck a bit, being the 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Ring. I hate hand traps in hero, but we basically just need to play this in order to not lose to any Mole Charmy, specifically Perulia and Fulos. Meows doesn't really matter, but those two, if either one of them gets dropped against us, we just lose the game straight up. So yeah, we're going to need the 3 Ash Blossoms just to completely combat that. And with that, that's the monster lineup, and now we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion. Now that we're on the spell and trap portion of the video, we're going to be starting off with 3 A Hero Lives. You activate it, you get to special summon any level 4 or lower hero from your deck, and whether you're summoning out Stratos, Shadow Mist, or Blazeman, each one is particularly valid in whatever situation you may need, right? And not only that, but this card is just fantastic at just being able to bait out your opponent's hand traps, because they'll just see a card that says special summon from the deck, and they just assume that we need it to resolve in order to win the game, or even play the game, but that couldn't be further from the truth. And I actually enjoy when they hand trap this a lot of the time because it gives you a lot of information about the player. And like I said earlier, the card that you summon out, while we would like it to resolve, unless it's Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, we don't need it to resolve in that moment. So yeah, we're basically making them go -1, or at least trade 1 for 1, which, I mean, I'll just take every single day of the week because there are a lot of other cards that I would much rather protect from those types of cards like Effect Veiler, Imperm, Ash than whatever I use to bring out with the Hero Lives. Then, to go with our 3 Hero Lives, we're playing 3 Fusion Destiny. Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer is still a very, very strong card, even with the myriad of Bestials running around, as just having a free pop and something that lowers your opponent's monster's attacks to prevent them from attacking you more easily, while it's not as effective without Destiny Hero Plasma, is still greatly appreciated, and it does allow us to be a little bit more flexible with our plays, as we can order, or we can have like certain sequences, right, that we just play around cards like Nibiru entirely, which, you know, pretty good. And then not to mention that we do play 3 different D hero fusions in the Xtra deck, so we can pretty much meet whatever requirement we need for the deck to actually function in that specific moment, right? We can send Neos plus any D hero if you want to summon Enforcer. We can send Shadow Mist plus any D hero if we want to make Dangerous. We can make Dystopia with like Denier, or with Denier and Malicious, and each situation will come up at some point. So yeah, I really enjoy 3 Fusion Destiny, even though it does suck that it locks you into dark hero monsters, seeing as how the modern hero deck plays like a million different attributes. So I would advise to use this last if possible instead of at the start, because you will be severely handicapping yourself. Then for the final 3 of spell, we're playing 3 Evil Assault. So this is probably my favorite of the new released support cards from Supreme Darkness, as it gets rid of bricks in your hands, right? So you can get rid of your Destiny Hero monsters or your Shadow Mist or whatever, and then you can either add to your hand or special summon an evil hero, being either the Adusted Goal or the Dead End Prison. And just having like another extender / play starter is just always going to be greatly appreciated, especially because of how good specifically Dead End Prison is, where it's a send for cost for any hero monster, and then it becomes, like I said, King of the Swamp, right? So yeah, I really, really enjoy Evil Assault. I just wish it did not lock us into hero monsters, but what are you going to do? Konami just refuses to make our cards generic because they know it'll be too good, I guess. And then for the 2 ofs, we're playing 2 Triple Tactics Thrust. So whether you're going first or second, this card is going to come up a lot, especially because, like I said earlier, people are playing Nibiru and Bestials pretty much in mass, right? So you're going to get hit by them pretty frequently, and as a result, you can punish them, as you can either add any of these normal spells, whether it's the Evil Assault, or Fusion Destiny, or Hero Lives, depending on what the situation calls for, or you can add any of these 1-ofs, being the Triple Tactics Talent to rip apart your opponent's hand to ensure that you can combo off a little bit more successfully, or take your opponent's monster if you're going second to go for game a lot more easily, or you can just draw 2 cards if your hand is a little bit, you know, on the wonkier side. You can also add Reinforcement of the Army to add any warrior. You can add Polymerization to fusion summon. you can add Miracle Fusion to Fusion Summon, and you can add Dark Contact to Fusion Summon. Now, obviously, we have ways to search out every single one of these cards, except for Rhoda and Talents, I guess. But like for these three, we can all search them out already, so you probably won't want to use them for Thrust, but the choices are there, and sometimes it does come up, right? So, you know, being able to basically search out half of our deck because of Thrust resolved is always going to be pretty solid. And then for the final spell, we're just playing the one Match Change. Dark Law as a card, while it's still obviously pretty strong, it's not very strong in this format because Malice exists, and Malice just punishes us for playing this. So, yeah, you don't really want to rely on it too heavily, but the choice is there because sometimes it will come up, and it's not the worst against Rezio Red because you can just turn off Exit, but I don't know, it's fine. Like, while Dark Law is obviously still a ridiculous card, it's just not as effective in the current format. Now, if the top decks get hit, going into the next format, Orchist, Blue Eyes, maybe even like Mermail Atlantean, all those decks kind of fold to Dark Law, so hey, you never know, right? And that's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we're just playing one Favorite Contact. I basically wanted to make it so that we could have the most consistent hands going first. So as a result, you're not going to see me playing cards like Infinite Impermanence. And even though I said I wanted to build this deck to be the most consistent going first, I'm also not playing Dark Supremacy, even though that's obviously a going first card. But it's more so for the fact that while yes, it is a going first card, it doesn't contribute to our plays. It's more of just like an end piece that, in all honesty, isn't really even needed, right? We already had a form of Dark Supremacy release called Protection of the Elements, which is a counter trap that is also searchable, by the way, that's able to negate spells and traps. Yeah, I don't know. It feels more suited to the side deck for when you can actually guarantee that you're going first than when you're gambling on a dice roll to see if you can go first. So hopefully that makes sense. I know I may have contradicted myself a bit, but yeah, so I wanted to make it as good as going first as possible while also cutting the going first card. But I know it sounds stupid, but like it makes sense in my head. And with that, that's the main deck, 40 cards as always, and now we can finally move on to the extra deck. Now that we're on the extra deck portion of the video, we're going to be starting off with the Link monsters first, and we're going to be doing one extra hero Wonder Driver to reset basically our fusion spells from the graveyard, our one extra hero Infernal Devicer to be able to search out Elemental Hero Neos whenever we want, and then lastly, we're playing the two extra hero Cross Crusaders, which is a reborn for any Destiny Hero monster, and can also tribute any Destiny Hero monster to search out any hero monster. Unfortunately, this card also locks you into exclusively heroes, which is why we can't really experiment all that much, but, you know, in a pure hero deck, I think it's honestly fine, right? And that's it for the links. We don't play Dread Decimator because that card is bad, and we already deal enough damage as is. But for the fusions, we're playing the one Flame Wingman Infernal Rage to basically have access to our Neos cards. It searches out any favorite card. So if you're playing like Wind Karibo level 6, you can search that out, but we're typically just going to be searching out Favorite Contact with this. Then we're also playing the one Elemental Hero Sunrise, which you typically cheat out by using the Flame Wingman's effect to special summon it. And this card just basically searches Miracle Fusion. It boosts all your monsters by 200 for every different attribute you have. If your opponent decides to do battle with the hero monster that's not Sunrise, you get to pop a card for free. Yeah, you don't need more than one. We're still playing the one Elemental Hero Escuridao just because I refuse to play Fusion Destiny and then not have a way to be able to OTK my opponent. Simple as that. If you're locked into darks, you have to play the dark guide just to at least try and OTK your opponent. Then for the other Elemental Hero fusions, we're playing the one Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, which, I mean, it's fine. I don't know why you guys rely on this card so much. I almost never summon it myself, but maybe that's just the way that I play. I don't know. I know you guys enjoy being a little greedy with your Wake Up Your Elemental Hero and DPEs and popping them and then summoning Shadow Mist during the end phase, but yeah, I've never felt the need for that. Then for the final Elemental Hero fusion, the one Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, which you're basically just summoning to your opponent's turn to pop up at least 2 different cards typically. So yeah, card's solid. And then it also obviously has like the Shining Flare Wingman effect where like it burns them, much like with Wake Up Your Elemental Hero. So and it becomes really strong too. So but it's basically just there for the pop effect. And then for the Destiny Hero fusions, we're playing the one Destiny Hero Dangerous to basically have a way to send our Shadow Mist to the graveyard. with any D hero monster. Now, because we are not playing Liquid Soldier in this build, we cannot do the instant Darklaw play, but I still really enjoy having Fusion Destiny essentially become a 2-card search, right? And what I mean by that is you send the Shadow Mist, which searches you a card, and then you're going to make the Cross Crusader, which in turn searches you another card, and then from there things can typically spiral into hopefully you having most of your engine by then. Then we play the one Destiny Hero Dystopia for time, even though you should not be going to time with this deck. Because it's a very fast-paced deck that, while it does take a little bit to like actually combo off, games are typically over with like in 1 or 2 turns. So you, like I said, you typically just don't need the effect to burn. But its other effect, where if its attack is different, you can put it back to 2800 and then pop a card, and that's a quick effect, is pretty useful, especially when you pair with cards like Sunrise. So yeah, Dystopia, just 1 copy, and then the 1 Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer because he is broken. Next, for the Evil Hero fusions, we're only playing the 1 Evil Hero Infernal Wing Backfire. So this card, it basically never comes out during game 1. It's pretty much just here for games 2 and 3 for when you're going first, as it's going to be our main method that we use to be able to search out Dark Supremacy, right? As well as give ourselves like another body. And then it happens to be a level 6, so a lot of the times I also find myself, depending on like the situation, using this card to be able to summon out Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer after I've used its effect to search. So yeah, this card, it's alright, but you're, like I said, you're typically not seeing it until the games 2 and 3. And then we're playing the 1 Elemental Hero, or Evil Hero Neos Lord, not Elemental Hero Neos, which is essentially just like a snatch steal on summon or when your opponent sends a monster to the graveyard. Yeah, you don't really need more than that. Malicious Bane is fine, I guess. There's like the other guy, I can't remember, but he's like the 1600 attack, where he lowers monsters' attacks much like DPE or something, and then when he's sent to the grave by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon a like Fiend or whatever. Those cards don't matter. These are the only 2 that you're typically going to be summoning consistently. And then with that, that's the evil heroes. And then for the final hero, the 1 Master Hero Darklaw, just in case we need him. And with that, that's the hero deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!